Uh, okay, let's start it. So, this is Fuzzy Finder. Well, before we dive into the talk, I'd like to share a quick story. Well, I participated in a podcast, and one day, during the show, the host, Tomer, asked me, so what exactly is a fuzzy finder in the first place? And I replied, well, it's something that finds things in a fuzzy way. Well, it sounds obvious. A simple and clear answer. But all I did was reverse the word without explaining anything. So I'm not sure if this is necessary, but let me take a moment to clarify what the fuzzy finder really is. So what is a fuzzy finder? Its purpose is to quickly find items from a large collection. Speed and scale are key. It's not for a deep investigation or a small set. And how does it work? Fuzzy Finder filters items in real time by partially matching user input to string with names, keywords, or so on, providing visual feedback along the way. So here is a demo screencast. I type TEBB, and the Fuzzy Finder filters the item, visually indicating that Vim text object multiblock.vim is a match. That's it for now. Next, let's compare the Fuzzy Finder with Trivia, which is also often used to find items from a large set. So, Fuzzy Finder is all about fast filtering with partial matches. It does require some knowledge about the target. For example, it's part of its name. Well, but it doesn't need the data to be organized. Just knowing part of the target is enough. Well, in contrast, the trivia is for quick overview by visually grasping structures. It requires data, it requires structured data, like a well-organized file tree. However, it doesn't need prior knowledge about the target. So, if you are new to a project or something like that, and don't know the target yet, you likely want a trivia instead of a fuzzy finder. Well, that's it for this part. I hope you have a clear picture of what the fuzzy finder is. So let's move on to the next. Me. Let me introduce myself. Well, I'm Halloween No, just kidding. I'm Arisa, the author of several projects including DNOps, Farm, Gym, Fall, and many more. Today, I'd like to talk about my new fuzzy finder plugin named Fall. Well, I don't usually share things like this, but today, today's a special day. So I thought I'd reveal a little secret. Well, first one is I like a beer. The second one is I like sushi. And the third one is maybe I like ramen. Now, I think you get the sense of what kind of person I am. All right, let's take a journey through the history of Fuzzy Finder plugins. Well, before diving into the actual historical overview, I want to share a quick note. Well, some of what I'll cover today are things I haven't personally used. For those parts, I'll be sharing information based on the documentation I found, so please keep in mind that there may be some small inaccuracy or something like that. Okay, let's start with the period from 2007 to 2012. In 2007, a plugin named Fuzzy Finder introduced a fuzzy finding to Vim. It rewrites an insert mode and requires step-by-step drill down, making it less practical by today's standard due to its slower workflow. But let's say, considering it was developed for Vim 7.1 at time with far fewer plugin development features. So I think this achievement is remarkable. In 2010, Shogo released Unite.vim, his first fuzzy finder and plugin that drew me to the dark side of Vim. Well, Unite is working on normal mode, displaying a candidate in the flat list within the buffer for efficient filtering compared to the previous one. Additionally, it introduced a modular, customizable design so that user can easily customize its functionality. They are no longer commonly used today, I hope. Unite was pivotal in the evolution of Fuzzy Finder, I think. And Control P, released in 2011, is likely the oldest Fuzzy Finder still in use today, I think. And is working on command mode and filter items from a flat list similar to Unite. Even though it lacks Unite-like modular system, it's relatively simple to extend its functionality with numerous external extensions available. Additionally, its minimalist UI appeals to those who value simplicity, keeping it popular even for now, especially among users who prefer simplicity and minimalism. Alright, let's move on to the next period. In 2015, FZF.Vim brought the power of CLI tool FZF to Vim. Well, as far as I recall, FZF.Vim was initially bundled with FZF, so its release may have occurred slightly earlier. Well, earlier fuzzy finder often struggled with large datasets, as they were written in Vim script. In contrast, FZF.Vim used the FZF as an external command, offering amazing speed and stability. Additionally, its excellent matching algorithm made it stand out, thereby drawing many users with its high performance and ease of use. Denied.nvim, Shogo's second fuzzy finder, was released in 2016. Well, to overcome the performance limitation of Vim script, Denied utilized NeoVim's remote plugin mechanisms and implemented its core in Python. This approach significantly improved performance, but Python-based plugins often struggle with stability due to differences in user environment. I remember that Shogo often have to address issues caused by these environment factors that makes Python-based Vim plugin feels less reliable to me. Well, even though I think this experience seems to have shaped the design philosophy of Shogo well and influenced its future development. Well, released in 2018, FZF.Preview FZF Preview emphasized the preview feature, addressing FZF Vim's initial lack of one. And this functionality became so impactful that it was later added to the FZF.Vim itself. Since the FZF Preview seems to have evolved into a best practice collection for FZF.Vim, offering some niche feature, rarely seen as fuzzy finders. Okay, let's move on to the next period. 2019 to this year. Troscope.and Vim, released by TJ in 2020, is one of the most popular Vim plugins, boasting over 50,000 stars on GitHub. It's amazing. And written in Lua, it offers excellent performance, along with modular, customizable design. And the plugin features modern UI, rich functionality, and beginner-friendly elements such as a help window for key mappings, making it easy to get started. So this enables users to enjoy a polished workflow right out of the box with just a simple installation. However, since Troscope is Vim specific, Vim users unfortunately cannot take advantage of this. In 2021, Shogo released DDU.Vim, his third fuzzy finder. It's amazing. Well, written in TypeScript with Linux, it is easier to extend than his earlier plugin, I think, and works with both Vim and Vim. Well, unlike Troscope, DDU does not come with a default configuration, requiring a user to understand the plugin and create their own setup to use it. Well, this approach strongly appeals to users who value deep customization, I think. And its modularity goes beyond Shogo's previous plugin, offering unparalleled flexibility for those willing to invest time in mastering it. If you enjoy customizing a tool, I highly recommend give it a try. And finally, this year, fall was released. Today's main topic. Well, we briefly look at the history of Fuzzy Finder so far, but where does fall stand? Well, fall aims to combine all strengths I've shared, embodying the best aspect of every Fuzzy Finder, I hope. Alright, finally, let's focus on the fall itself. First, let's talk about the three core philosophies of fall. The first one is supporting both Vim and Vim. Well, from the very beginning, fall was designed to work equally well in both editors. Fall makes a strong effort to ensure features are fully supported in both Vim and Vim. The second one is focusing the core of what the fuzzy finder should be. With fall, I went back to basics and asked myself, what really does a fuzzy finder need? Based on my experience, I streamlined the feature, keeping only what I believe is truly essential. The third philosophy is being programmer-friendly. Well, I think the value of Fuzzy Finder lies in its performance and functionality. For example, plugins like Shogo's Fuzzy Finder and TJ's Telescope are popular in PAD because they make it relatively easy to third-party developers to create extensions. With fall, I want to go a step further and make it as easy as possible for programmers to build on top of it. Well, Well, by the way, this video you're watching shows fall featuring for the string Easter egg in Vim's repository with live git grep feature. So fall works like this. Alright, let's dive deeper into each part of philosophies. And the first one is this. Well, unfortunately, Vim and Vim have started moving down different paths, with Vim embracing Vim 9 script and Vim adopting Lua as its primary scripting language. This divergence has made creating plugins that support both editors increasingly challenging over the year. That's why making fall compatible with both Vim and Vim became the first philosophy behind its design. Well, actually, the main reason I decided to develop Fall was that I discovered a way to create a floating window style URL in Vim. As far as I know, the only way to achieve a floating window-like experience in Vim has been by using an external command like a SDF, displaying in a pop-up window using the terminal feature. So when I realized I could bring a Vim style UI experience to Vim without using terminal feature, I thought it would be something many Vim users would appreciate. That's what inspired me to start developing Fall. Well, by the way, Fall also uses Linux, feature introduced earlier, making it relatively easy to create plugins that works in both Vim and Vim. So if you're interested in building cross-compatible plugin, I highly recommend to give it a try. He's saying use me as well. Alright, here is a quiz for you. So, can you guess which one shows Fall running in Vim? The answer is the one on the left. So as you can see, Fall displays nearly identical UI in both Vim and Vim. The only noticeable difference is a small one, like the whether line number appear in the preview window, or a few subtle variation in highlighting. I think this is exciting news for anyone who's been hoping for a modern fuzzy finder experience in Vim. Okay, next, let's talk about this. Let me start by asking a question. Well, do we really need a modal interface? Well, I think the value of modal URL lies in its ability to execute the various functions through simple mapping. In Vim, for example, we navigate text in normal mode to locate editing point, then switch to insert mode to edit. This works because text editing is just one of many functions Vim offers. But what about the fuzzy finders? The primary goal of fuzzy finder is to quickly narrow down the item you are looking for. It's not about scrolling through many choices with J and K and get broad perspectives. As I mentioned earlier, if what you need is an overview, a tree viewer is usually a better fit. From this, I conclude that text input is central to fuzzy finder, not just one of many functions. That's why Fall is designed as a modulus UI, offering only insert mode. Well, with a modulus UI, there's no need to wonder whether you are in normal mode or insert mode or whatever. You can focus entirely on finding what you needed. Now, let's look at how Fall future support users go to focus on the purpose. Okay, Fall addresses a simple truth. Humans forget. So the main purpose of fuzzy finder is filtering, not memorizing shortcut. However, humans are born to forget, so you might forget mapping and fail to filter effectively. To solve this, Fall provides a one-key mapping hub feature similar to what Telescope provides, allowing you to instantly check your mapping whenever you need it. And however, I think mapping hub alone isn't always enough, because there are often many actions you might want to perform on selected candidates, and it's unrealistic to create mappings for every single one. To address this, Fall includes a UI for filtering and selecting executable actions, a feature commonly found in Shogo's plugin. This design ensures that you can access all available actions without needing to map or remember everything. The next feature is the ability to dynamically adjust behavior while Fall is running. Well, many users often launch a fuzzy finder casually, thinking, I just want to narrow this down. But often, after starting a search, they realize it's not filtering as expected, and end up relaunching the fuzzy finder with different options. With fall, you can switch between pre-registered functions even while filtering. This means you can start fall with a general set type, and if it's not working as intended, you can adjust it on the fly without having to list it. In this screencast, I'm switching the rendering function and sorting function in real time. Fall also allows you to switch matching function and preview function, making it easy to start without considering options and adjust as needed. This approach is designed to be user-friendly, especially for those who prefer straightforward and flexible setup. And next, let's talk about the Submatch feature. Well, Fuzzy Finder are a powerful tool, but most of the time, they only let you filter based on a single condition. Well, just one condition usually isn't enough to narrow things down effectively. For example, let's say you are trying to find TypeScript file edited in the last line row that contains the string dino. To do that, you need to combine multiple conditions, and that's where most fuzzy finder hit a wall. Well, fall addresses this limitation with a feature called Submatch. When you execute a Submatch action, a new fall instance opens, using the filtered result from the previous search as its source. Well, this new instance lets you apply a completely different methods, allowing you to filter further, step by step, to meet complex requirements, like the one mentioned earlier. In the screencast, I first narrow down the file containing EVE, then further filter the result to show file with .vim in the name. Since the result was still too broad, I return to the previous step with escape key, change the criteria to file containing event instead, and apply the .vim filter again, which narrow it down to a single target file. Alright, finally, let's talk about the last feature. Well, it's debatable whether to call it a feature, but fall is designed to prioritize low latency over high throughput. Of course, having high throughput is great, but if increasing throughput comes at the cost of latency, the user experience suffers. Anyone who has used Vim for a long time knows that how frustrating it can be when latency drops. Like a plugin like a fuzzy finder's world compression can freeze and making Vim unresponsive. Well, while it's fundamentally hard to eliminate this issue entirely, I personally hate latency drop so much that I designed fall to avoid them as much as possible, even if it means sacrificing some throughput. Well, in the screencast, you can see fall running in a Linux repository with over 90,000 files. Well, fall takes several seconds to list all the files, but during the time, it remains responsible, accepting input and continue to filter as you type. If we prioritize throughput above all else, the file listing would be much faster, but latency would suffer, making the experience worse overall. That's why I chose to compromise on throughput to ensure a smooth interaction. But that said, in most typical use case, you are unlikely to encounter 19,000 candidates, so I don't think this will be an issue in practice. Alright, finally, let's talk about the being programmer-friendly. Alright, let's jump into one of Fall's unique aspects right away. Well, Fall's customization are provided only as TypeScript file. This means that if you can't write TypeScript, you won't be able to customize Fall. But don't worry, you won't be writing anything overly complex, so I think it should be manageable. In the screenshot, You can see a simple example of customizing a fall. You're just specifying things like source, methods, and actions, and then define the picker. Even if you're not the TypeScript expert, I think you'll probably get the hang of it. Well, using TypeScript for customization offers several advantages. If you have a properly set up editor, like you'll get type checking, out completion, documentation, and consistent formatting, and the ability to apply linters. I believe this provides a much better experience to customize functionalities. Now, let's talk about the custom extensions. In fall, almost every feature is provided as an extension. An extension are represented as function. This means when you create an extension, you can focus entirely on implementing the feature you want. For example, in the screenshot, you can see code that set up source using Vim's old file. The idea is simple. It uses denops to pull the old files and make a minor adjustment and return it as async iterable. Similarly, other types of extension like actions and matches can be created just as easily. So, if you have some TypeScript knowledge, adding new feature to fall is straightforward. Since it's impossible for me to implement every useful feature on my own, I'm really looking forward to see contribution from everyone. Alright? So, how should you distribute the extension you create? Well, typically, extension for Vim plugin are distributed as Vim plugin. This approach makes version control and management easier through Vim's plugin manager. Initially, fall was going to follow this method too. However, with this approach, you lose many TypeScript benefits, like type protection and auto-completion. Since fall adapted TypeScript to provide a better user experience, it would be shame to miss out on those advantages for external extensions. For this reason, fall extensions are distributed as standard TypeScript module instead. We already prepared the JSON packages for the community, so we are excited to see your contribution as well. Okay, that's it for now. Let's move on to the conclusion. So, conclusion is, fall is bendy! Yay! Alright, let me make a quick announcement before we finish. As I mentioned earlier, Tommy and I are hosting podcasts from vim-jp. In each episode, we invite guests and have fun and casual conversation. So if you're interested, please check it out. It's available on all major platforms every Monday at noon. And this is really the last thing. I've enabled GitHub sponsor, so if you use my plugin or found that today's talk is interesting, please feel free to scan this QR code now. And it will take you to my GitHub sponsor pages where you can make a donation starting from $1. So your contribution will go to good use, like supporting my favorite things, beer and sushi and ramen. Alright, thank you so much for your time and support.